couple minutes after I've put my kids in bed. When I finally have time to do something for myself, I feel like there's nothing left.
Unless you're doing like
I feel a strange tension in my life. The world feels both limitless and bounded at the same time. Which one is it? I can't tell. When I look around at this universe that we live in, the sky, the stars, just the world, the vastness of the world is so incredible. It just makes me feel like there's this untapped potential, like there's something more. And it's present all the time. Just whenever I go outside, whenever I think about the universe just existing, I feel the vastness of the universe, and it makes me feel like I should be more than I am this little speck in it. I want to be more anyways. But then on the flip side, the universe takes so much. I feel like I'm just barely surviving. I spend my entire day working, feeding kids, just doing basic things just to survive. And when I get home at the end of the day, when I actually have a moment to surpass myself, to develop, to become more, I'm just exhausted and tired. This is me, laying on the floor, a couple minutes after I've put my kids in bed. When I finally have time to do something for myself, to work on myself, to become better, to create something interesting. And I feel like there's nothing left. On the other hand, this is me, 10 minutes later, jamming out on the piano. See, I played that. I must be capable of something on this piano. But it's the consistency, it's the desire to make it happen that's the problem. So how do we convert this exhaustion into positive momentum to make good changes in our lives, to develop the habits that we want? It's something I'm still trying to figure out, but I have a couple ideas. I'd love to hear your ideas too. So the first idea is that we need to be proactive. So how do we be proactive? I think there's a couple ways to be proactive. So the first is you need to have some sort of desire. If you don't have a desire, what are you? You're just floating in the ether of the universe. It's just like this river that's pushing you wherever it feels like. So desires are the things that help you figure out what direction you want to move in. But a desire needs to be formed into something more tangible, a goal. That's the benefit of goals is that it increases your desire. It gives your desire this extra motive force, this reality that didn't exist before. So write down your goals, come up with something specific, and don't worry about whether it's the right goal. Just think about it as an experiment, a direction. You can always change directions 5 clicks down the road when you learn something more, but you're not going to learn that until you actually take some steps. It's funny how in life you have to be willing to fail to become good at some things. There are certain things that you don't really have to do that for. You go read a book, you can get some knowledge, you're great. But for many things in life that don't have a book or don't have a clear manual for, or it's like a skill, you just have to fail at it. Singing, for example, you just have to be willing to fail. You have to sing badly. Playing the piano, you have to play the piano badly for years before you get good. And that's just a part of life. So you need some desire, but you need something more tangible, something that will carry you through the failure. And that's your goals. So once you have goals, how do you add some positive momentum to that direction? To me, that positive momentum can come from basically looking at your resources. Now, there's a couple obvious resources you can take stock of. How much time, how much money, what are my friends, what's my network, who can I get to help me, what knowledge do I have? There's so much resources that we have available to us. Some maybe we have more than access to than others, like knowledge, whereas time is very limited. Some people may have more money than others, but the thing that matters most, the most important resource, I don't think is any of these. The most important resource is your emotional state of being. That's the thing that really drives you. That's the thing that helps you move forward with anything. You might have a million goals in the world, but if you don't have that emotional state that is sufficient to actually carry that goal into action, then it's going nowhere. So the first thing we have to do is really learn to observe our emotions. It's kind of sad, the just complete lack of education that we get in this life. Growing up through school and all these things, they never really teach you about your emotions. The more you grow up and realize and look around, the more you realize it's sometimes people just have like almost like a 1 and a 0 level of emotion, like an on and an off. So many different complex emotions get boiled down into something like anger when it could be more like anxiety or who knows what. But we need to learn to observe our emotions, figure out a full range of emotions, get a chart which shows just a list of different kinds of emotions, and learn to listen to what your body is telling you about how you're feeling right now. So that's the first step, figuring out how you feel and actually being aware of it and being able to discern one emotion from another. So once we learn to recognize our emotions, we can learn to recognize the fuel that we're putting into our body. Just like if you eat lots of candy one day, you're going to get a totally different feeling in your body as compared to eating some fruit or a salad. Nobody really wants to eat those things a lot of times, but they make your body feel great. So the same with emotions. We can control the fuel that we put in our body. Emotions are rooted in thoughts. All we have to do is change our thinking, and our emotions will eventually follow. To a certain extent. There may be extreme scenarios, and some people may have, disorders and things like that. Severe depression or whatever. There may be some chemical imbalances. But for the most part, a lot of us are in this scenario where we just can choose to think and persist in thinking. And eventually that will kind of create this change in our heart and in our emotions. So figure out what emotion you want. What emotion do you need to be able to make some sort of thing happen in your life? Maybe it's confidence, if that's an emotion, or maybe it's some sort of feeling of commitment or optimism or hope. Figure out what it takes for you to feel that. Maybe, do something that makes you feel hopeful, and then create like a cheat sheet of thoughts that help you to get to that feeling easily. So use that cheat sheet whenever you want to create that positive fuel to get you to do something that you're otherwise feeling exhausted about. Another thing that you can do is have some sort of like daily plan or attribute that you're focusing on, or a belief. So you can start your day by writing down some sort of positive affirmation about yourself, like I am funny and entertaining. You'd be surprised what just saying that thought in your head or out loud actually does for you. You'll go throughout the day and you're more likely to be in an emotional state where you believe that, and you'll feel like, yeah, hopeful, I can do this, this is who I am. It's not just about putting a thought in your head, it's about committing to be somebody when you say an affirmation. It helps define who you are. It's kind of similar to a goal, but maybe a slightly different take. It's stating something about yourself that you believe or you aspire to be, and putting that in your thought over and over. Just like the notifications on your phone, you got to put in the notifications of who you are and who you want to become into your mind to help you actually achieve those things. So the last thing I would say is, I'm sure there's many different things. I know for me personally, gratitude has been a big thing that's carried me emotionally. I started focusing and studying gratitude a couple years ago before the pandemic started, and it has been a huge blessing in my life to be able to pull myself out of feeling depressed or upset or exhausted or lame, just feeling better about my life. Our bodies have a way of adapting to our life, where everything that's good and amazing in our life that we worked so hard for, we worked decades for, suddenly becomes just totally boring and meaningless and taken for granted. So gratitude helps you to pull back out of that and say, you know what, like, this car that I'm driving, or this house that I'm in, or this job that I have is totally amazing, and I worked so hard for this and I love it, even if it's kind of making you miserable, because you want more. So that desire, that feeling of more that's innate to continue striving, that thing will at the same time kind of put you in this negative emotional state if you're not careful. So you need to practice gratitude to be able to pull yourself back in and stay focused and not get too far in this negative state of seeing what you don't have, when in reality you have so much. And that feeling of fullness that you get from gratitude, as you practice it, you start to feel like, man, there's so much in my life. It just gives you power and strength. You're not intimidated. You have more ability to reach out to people. You just feel happier. So anyways, if you want to learn more about gratitude, I have a course. Go to gratitudeworkout.com. But that's just one of many things, and I'll leave a link there, but something I'm working on. And it's really made a difference. So going back to those things, you could have like daily affirmations. You could have like a cheat sheet, like, hey, I'm feeling tired. I want to watch Netflix, but I have this goal. How do I actually affect it? You can go and look at your cheat sheet, and that can help you focus on an emotion that you want and need to be able to push yourself that extra little bit after you're done and exhausted for the day. That's about it. This has been my first YouTube video. I hope you like it. I'd love to hear what you want to learn about. Put some comments, like and subscribe to this video, and that will motivate me to post more interesting thoughts.